challenging space to work in, I think, partly because so much of the market is very fragmented. It's hard to get things to the market. It's hard to get raw materials to places. It's hard to have sort of post-market services so that people could, when they get a product, if in some way it fails, how can they keep it going? So there's a lot of things that we take for granted in this country that just aren't available in these markets. It's also true that when you're working with people with limited incomes, you want to have a high value product, you want to have a high quality product, but at a price that's affordable, or if not at a price that's affordable, you have to have a financing scheme which makes it affordable for people. So I think that it's not impossible, but you have to be creative about the solutions that you would have in order to make them accessible to people. And that doesn't necessarily mean cheap, but it means that there has to be a way that they can afford the products and a way that they can have access to the products physically as well. And those are, I think, a couple of the big challenges. There's a lot of different models for how you can think about getting products to the people who need them, because it's not all about a large company making them and then distributing them, right? You could also do something where you train people in how to create the technology themselves, and then they're producing it and you don't have to worry about distribution. And with D-Lab, we're looking at both ends of that spectrum. So we do a lot of capacity building for people so that they become creators of technology, and that you have a sort of a maker movement which is happening on the grassroots level, where people are actively creating the technology that solve their problems. So that's one end of the spectrum. And then on the other end of the spectrum are products that are being developed that would be manufactured at a central location, and then you would need to develop the supply chains that would get those products out to market. And then somewhere in the middle is these small and medium enterprises where they're working in a regional or district level, and they're getting so that they don't have to have global distribution chains, but they can develop supply chains which are more robust for their situation, because they're not as long, and they just have to worry about sort of people within the neighboring villages, but not throughout the entire country or a larger region than that. And so we try to look at all of those cases, so we don't focus just on one end or the other of the spectrum, but recognize that different products have different solutions and should be disseminated in different ways, and it depends a lot on what the situation is in terms of the technology, the need, the users, etc. At D-Lab, we've had a lot of experience working with communities around the world, and I feel like we've gained a good understanding about what are the needs of people who are living in poverty in a variety of settings. And I think that really helps us to identify areas where there's a potential for a product or an innovation that could address a challenge that people are facing, and that then leads to a market opportunity. And I think that that's one of the skills that we've developed, is identifying these opportunities where technologies or other services could provide solutions. I think another thing that we've learned is just how challenging it is to both manufacture and distribute products in the developing world. And so understanding how you could use local manufacturers and local artisans in order to produce technologies, looking at how to tap into local systems and local distribution channels in order to get products to the market and to the people who could use them, looking at how to understand the culture in a way that you would be able to advertise and promote products effectively within a culture. Those are all some of the things that that we've gained experience in through the work that we've been doing with our students and through our research projects in the field, where we're able to, it's always been a very important part of our ethos to really understand the people who we're working with and the context in which we're working. And through that, I think it provides insight into effective ways to design and distribute products that can serve people in that situation.